Reginald was giving us some words to think about. I didn't want you to get so deep into your sins that everybody start running out. Wait a minute, I'm gonna go home and repair myself before I sit through the rest of this meeting. But I'm grateful that you came out and took some time out of your schedule so that we may have an opportunity to exchange with you. Our desire, our aspirations is always to reach all of our people and try to get them out to be a part of our meetings so that they may gain from what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has shared with us and that has made our lives so much better. We would not be who we are today if it was not for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He's the one who raised us up out of the muck and the mire. He didn't find any of us in heaven when he found us. All of us came up from hell to become what God has blessed us to become today. So I thank you for coming out. And today I really want to get right into the topic today. Because today it's a topic that, you know, sometimes you have a difficult topic. But this is one that's more difficult than the norm. What I mean by that is that I can vision what I'm about to say in my mind. But whether I can get you to see the picture that I want you to see is the challenge. Our topic today is about being able to see life down the road. What am I mean by that? The hardest thing you can do is to get somebody to see beyond his or her time period. Which means if you're 30, you can see things in the 30s. You're in 20s, you can see it in the 20s. You're in the 40s, you can see it in the 40s. But to try to get somebody to see all the way down past your time, the moment that you're living in, other words, to talk about an experience that you have yet to experience, is a very difficult task. Let me give you an example before I get to the topic. Have you ever tried to, if you have, if you don't have, or if you've talked to someone, have you ever tried to talk to a teenager and try to get them to see that you've been there, done that, and they try to like, no, mom, no, dad, y'all was listening to Nat King Cole, we listening to Tupac and Biggie, we listen to, to Drake, so the perception is because the music is different or the styles is different that you don't understand their time. Now think about this for a minute. What are you trying to do? You know that you understand their time, but you're trying to get them to see, I know what you don't know. I've been to where you have not been. But since they have not been there, their mind can't get around, their mind can't wrap around the idea or the concept when you're trying to teach them about something way down the line. Because when you're a teenager, 30 years old, 40 years old, 50, you dead. Right. In the mind of a teenager. Right. You can't tell me you 50. Oh, please. Call funeral director. It could be any minute. Because when you're young, you don't see it that way. You don't even see yourself ever getting to 50 or 60. You just don't see that. So when you're trying to give a concept and give an idea that's going to take somebody's mind beyond their time, it is the most difficult thing that you can ever do. Because they get up to a certain point and then they stop. Can't see. So today I need you to walk with me. Today we're going to travel ahead of the time and age that I'm at, that any of you are at, the age that I'm going to talk about is over where any of us are at. but it's an opportunity, if you listen carefully, for you to get a peek into the future. This topic today comes from the words of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, it takes 75 years to learn how to live. 75 years to learn how to live. So our topic today is learning how to live. Now, if the topic is learning how to live, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says it takes 75 years just to learn how to live, not to live, but to learn how to live. How am I going to reach an audience that none of us in here are 75? So now we've got to think of ourselves the same way that you think of yourself talking to your teenager, or talking to your cousins or your nieces or your nephews who may be teenagers, and you're trying to guide them and give them reference points and try to show them a way. How do you talk to an audience where nobody is 75, but it takes 75 years to learn how to live? So how do you wrap your mind around the idea of talking about something that's beyond your time but has value for your time? Because if we can get in the mind, if we can get the vision, if we can put ourselves in the seat of somebody that's 75 years older, you'll see life from a whole new spectrum. You'll see life from a whole new point of view. Because there's a lot more to life than what we see. And the things that we think have value in life. Many of us, if you have parents or grandparents, as in my case, I have parents that live into these ages. My mom's 71, passed away at 71. My dad just passed away a year ago. He was 85 at the time. And my dad and mom married almost 50 years. And everybody that know me well, know that my mom and my dad, we were all very close, very tight. And my dad is the closest in the sense that my dad was my advisor in life. And as he got older in life, his wisdom was profound. As my dad reached into his 80s, you know, the thing I got a chance to see as my dad aged, and I used to take my dad out before he got into his 80s, but he was in still his 60s or so. I used to take my dad out for breakfast, and we would chew the fat, and we'd talk about life and the family and everything. And as my dad got up in age, I watched him, as I always did, to learn from him. And I noticed as he got into his 70s and his 80s, the things that were valuable to him in his life when he was young no longer had the value. It wasn't about all of the things that he used to take priority in, that he used to think were really important. Once he got into his 70s and 80s, they didn't have that same importance. In fact, they had little to no importance. So this is what I want to talk about today. Like I said, I envisioned this topic in my mind, but getting this topic over to you may be the hardest thing I've ever done. Because to make you see beyond your time period, to make you see beyond your age limit, to make you see a time that you've yet to step into. You haven't stepped into your 70s, you haven't stepped into your 80s. So just like kind of talk to that teenager about a year and a time that they have yet to live, that they have yet to know, it's just as difficult to talk to you now about this time period that you don't know about. So let's get started. It takes 75 years, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, to learn how to live. See, if you look it up, if you look up to live,